Hi everyone, welcome back to Chop's Garage, and the dubious car buying continues. Right, those of you who follow me for a while know I can't resist a cheap little warm hatch. It's got to be super cheap and it's got to be warm. We don't want to nick properly fast. We want something you've got to thrash the living daylights out of. So when I was offered this little TSport, isn't it? A little Toyota Yaris TSport, I could not resist. A few of you have put in the comments of my videos over the years that I should try one of these out. And that's another reason I grabbed it, because obviously I absolutely love my Suzuki Swift Sport. I like my Ignis Sport, but a few of you did say no, you want to try the Toyota Yaris T-Sport. So when I was offered it, I thought, well, let's give it a go. And these firmly do sit in the warm hatch territory. They've got the 1.5 chain driven engine in it that puts out 103 brake horsepower, I think it is, which will whip this car to 60 in 8.7 seconds. And all the way to 120 mile an hour, I would have thought, with a prevailing wind behind it. So yeah, it is fully in the warm area of hot hatches. I don't know what they did to the chassis. Anybody comment down below on what they did to the chassis? I didn't find any, doing a bit of research, I didn't find any indicators of what they did to actually make them handle any better or anything like that. They obviously colour coded everything. The alloys on this one, I think, are actually off an MX-5. I don't think they're the original T-Sport alloys. I'm sure someone will correct me down below if I'm wrong on that. I don't think we've got the best example in the world here. Literally, this is as it's been dropped off. I've just grabbed the keys to have a look around it with you. I haven't actually paid for it yet, so I do have the opportunity to reject it, which is probably what I should do, but I think we all know I'm not going to. There was a few indicators that it might not have been thrashed within an inch of its life. Check out these carpets. They have to be the best thing I have seen for a long while. And then it has a matching seatbelt strap as well. So yeah, pretty good indicator that it's not been absolutely thrashed. Either that or someone young has got a wicked sense of humour. Now we all want to do our checks on it, because this panel gap doesn't look quite right here. That looks a little bit big there. The bumper's sitting below that clip on the headlight. That's presumably supposed to clip over the top of that. And then over here, again, bumper's not really lined up correctly at all, so that's an indicator the bumper's either been off or it's had a little prang. Round the back, that seems to be, again, I don't know, that might be right, that panel grab there, but we've got a couple of dings on the door there. So I think one of the first things we do is get the car vertical done on it. As always, I have the car vertical app on my very beat up work phone, so let's bung the reg in. Y638 FEC. So car vertical's off doing its thing. Let's see how the report comes back. So report is back. We're okay for theft. We're okay for the speedo, why anybody would fake 138. We're okay for no finance outstanding. No damage. It's never had an insurance claim against it. If this wasn't a bumper thing, obviously wasn't enough to go for the insurance. Last known mileage 140,000. The graph does show that that's a nice consistent mileage, so the vehicle's just been nicely consistently used. But not all Toyota Yaris's have as clean a history as ours. Check out this one that Car Vertical found. Had no theft, no mileage or no financial issues, but did have a damage flag on it. If we look here, it's got pictures from the salvage auction when this vehicle was sold. You see it suffered a very heavy impact. If we scroll further down, we'll find that although this was a low mileage vehicle, it actually been category S registered, which means it was structurally damaged. So if this car was presented to you all repaired, unless you did your car vertical, you might never know. As I always say, these checks are super important when you're buying cars. Even if you're buying sort of lower value ones, definitely want to be doing checks. As always, there's a link in the description down below to get you a nice 10% discount on your own car vertical check when you use the code CHOPSGarage. I say the link's in the description down below. I did take with this car is I bought it just as its MOT ended, and the last MOT did not read particularly well regarding corrosion, so fully expect you might have some welding to be done. But yeah, if we have a look around it, like I said, there's those dings and dents. We've got these wrong alloys on, but they are wearing Avons. That, I could tidy that up, I could re-lacquer that bit there. This paint actually looks like if it was cleaned and buffed it would be alright. It'd have some various dings and dents in it. We won't go around and do all the paint on that, it's going to be ridiculous for the kind of value this car is. The Tyre on the back is also an Avon, so they're matching Avons. Got a little bit of rust there we want to catch before it goes too much further. It's got lots of sort of in-ground grime and dirt on it. It's going to be a nice clean up, isn't it? A little bit faded across the top here, but a buff might help that. Our badging has gone horrible. Don't know why I'd have the desire to put a new badge on that. But I think you just lift it straight away after the bodywork was all cleaned down and machine polished. You've got another Avon there. Seems to have had Avons put on all at the same time. The alloys aren't curbed up, so they should clean up all right. We just have a little look under the bonnet. And then a buff of these headlights is going to take this car massively up a level. Simple little thing like that will really make it look a lot better. So under the engine bay, certainly no one tarted this up pre-sale. Look, we've got a patch there on the suspension turret, so that's been patched before. I mean, we are getting on now. What's this? This is now 22 years old, so it's going to have some welding. Most cars go on the suspension turrets. Could have been a cleaner job, but I guess it was just an MOT pass fix, wasn't it? Look it over, let's have a look down here. I mean, it's dry. There's no oil down the side of the gearbox. None around the oil filter. Doesn't seem to be much at all, well, if any, from the head gasket. Sorry, the rocker cover gasket, I mean. Oil's a nice colour. It's not horrendous. Mayo-free cap. Well, looks honest enough here, doesn't it? Belt looks a bit old on the old alternator there. These are chain driven, of course, and they have decent chains, not like the blooming Vauxhalls. I don't tend to touch wood here too much problem wise. We haven't actually heard it start yet. What was the coolant level like? Too dirty to really see. It's in there, yeah. It's at the right level. Again, clean up the engine bay will make a lot of difference. I'll have a start up. Oh, crack. What was that? One of the hinges that are the check straps. A bit old on board, which again, to be expected. We certainly wouldn't go around trying to fix all that. We'll have a look at the interior in a second. We'll just start the engine up. 148,223 miles. No chain rattle. No warning lights. Little tiny little bit chirp maybe from that belt. The alternator belt. I'll probably do replacing. Revs cleanly enough. Paperwork here. I've got the old MOT, which, as I said, doesn't make particularly good reading. Suspension spring mounting area corroded but not excessive near side front, so that'll be the one that hasn't had the welding done on it. That is actually alright, man, but it might be good to wire brush it down and stone chip it so it doesn't go any further. Coil spring corroded. Well, that could just be the powder coating, couldn't it? Suspension component mounting prescribed is corroded but not considered excessive. Well, that could have gone further in a year, couldn't it? Seatbelt anchorage is area corroded but not excessive. Floor and along sill lip areas. Suspension arm corroded but not seriously weakened. So quite a bit of underbody corrosion side of things. Service book. We've got quite a lot of stamps. We've got 202, 203, 204, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, what's that? And then 2020 by the looks of it, so quite a big jump there. Inside steering wheel is obviously worn from that mileage. The seats seem to have survived pretty well. They're all in nice condition. I guess our carpet's been fitted to, oh, there's no holes underneath that, so they've been put there to protect it. So look at the back ones. Yeah, condition of the seats is all, you wouldn't say they'd done that kind of mileage. It's a bit saggy in the bolster there, but nothing outrageous. Obviously the gear knob's pretty well worn. I haven't checked the electrics, see what's working electrics wise. Right, okay, and then it's a manual roof, so I don't see why that shouldn't work. He says, famous last words, have I done it wrong? 2 seconds. Yeah, I need to press the button in the middle when I do it. Well, that all seems to be working. Stereo's working. Got an upgrade here to a DAB radio setup. I think we should probably have a look underneath it now. Right, coil springs, powder coatings come off them. They could do a wire brushing and stone chipping down. The rear beam is crusty, not rotted through, but all the paint's flaked off it, so that could do with doing. Floor pan under here is a bit crusty as well, like a second skin, I think. Again, that could do with wire brushing and stone chipping down. But what's more worrying is I can spot over here, that looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? Very crumbly along the end of the sill there where it meets the suspension. That looks like we'll be in for some welding there, and the other side as well. Don't think that's rotted through yet, but they may want to do it at the same time, so we're into some money welding wise. Okay, so that's money to be done for the MOT for sure. Let's take it for a little spin. Cool. So off we go. We'll give it a quick spin and see what we think of it. Obviously comparing it a lot towards the Suzuki Swift Sport. Excuse the knocking about the tray plate on the back. I've always found the 1.5 VTTI a bit uninspiring, but this one seems to have a bit more throatiness to it, maybe because of the extra miles. It's going to want a rev, isn't it? It's a VVTI. Let's hold it in third. Oh yeah, it's almost got like a tiny little VTEC kick. It's up to 60 pretty nippy. I know on paper it says sort of late 8s, but it feels a bit nippier than that. Obviously the roads are really poorly surfaced, but I'm interested to see how it is through the corners a bit. It's certainly a little rever. But the gears goes through the gears nicely. There's no hesitation changing gear. The clutch is nice and light and bites in the middle. So I can only imagine it's had a clutch at some point with 146,000 miles on it. Yeah, all the brakes seem good. Oh yeah, she's sprightly. Hold those revs, she's got an enthusiastic little roar to her. It's quite an enjoyable thing to do. Normally I don't really like screaming cars too much, but this is quite enjoyable to rev. Well, the first sort of 30 seconds, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's certainly a lot more interesting than most of the 1.5 VVTIs I've driven. Let's get it on a bit of a straighter stretch. Hold it in third. Oh, she does love to rev. I'll give her that. It's another one of those cars where you don't have to go ridiculously fast to feel like you're having good fun. She's like the Swift. She doesn't feel like she's making massively fast progress, but once you get the momentum up, keep those revs up there, you can bob along. Right, round and roundabout fast. How's it feel? It is tight. That is really tight. Again, I would not believe that suspension had done that kind of mileage. That was gripping on. We could have gone round there even quicker. It's idling happy as you like. Again, Put your foot down hard here, coming off there. It's making a lot of noise but not going anywhere particularly quickly, but once we start getting up over 40 and those revs kick in, she'll shoot off to 60 quite happily. Now it drives really well. Looks like it might be worth doing a bit more to it. Well, it doesn't seem to be any overheating problems. I had it sitting outside for about 10 minutes, so doesn't seem to be any issues on that front. Question really is how much is it worth? Realistically, with a new MOT on, really buffed and tidied and cleaned up from a dealer, maybe 1995, probably private sale 1500 quid, something like that, maybe even a bit less than that private sale wise. It's quite a lot of welding to be done on that. I think, to be honest, there's another one of those ones where pretty much at any price there's a chance you could get burned on it. I think we'll have to get on the phone and see what deal we can do. Right, update, as you probably already know via the thumbnail, I imagine, if I've included that I've paid £500 for it. I have bought it. Logic says I shouldn't have bought it because it's too much work, but I just kind of like the car, and as you know, a lot of my purchases don't make an awful lot of sense. I think that's probably £200 too much. I think it's probably a £300 car, to be perfectly honest. It was probably worth £300 in parts for a scrap man, something like that. I can easily see us putting another £600-700 into getting this ready, even £1,000 possibly, depending on how much welding needs to be done. If that rear subframe, we need to get a better one and just swap it out for another one, or whether that one can be saved or not, how much they have to drop down to get to doing the welding on it. Again, it's something I could do myself, but I don't have the time, and the return on investment won't be there to make it worthwhile me spending that time doing it. But I do kind of want to save it. Comment down below, do you think it's worth saving or not? Probably this age and this mileage, a Yaris is about the only car that would be worth saving, because they do tend to still go for decent money. But I don't know, it is a big risk. So I guess first thing we need to do is, well, I don't know why, again, doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll probably give it a clean up first. I do kind of think if I drop them down for the MOT station looking clean and tidy, psychologically the guys think of them differently than if they turn it up like looking terrible. So I think we'll do that, and then we'll get it down for an MOT and see what the guys have to say. So to find out how we get on with that Toyota, you're going to have to tune in later on. But don't forget, we've still got the raffle for our other Toyota going on, the Toyota Camry Sport. That is £1 a ticket for the raffle. There are discount offers ending very soon that allow you to get a load of tickets extra free, so make sure you check those out. Now remember, with this raffle, we are supporting the East of the Water Community Food Pantry. So a lot of you said you didn't want to support a charity that was a big one with 150k a year CEO. So this is a local food bank run by a great young lad who wanted to help his local community, set up a food bank. They've been struggling recently because obviously money's a bit tight at the moment, so people haven't been donating quite as much. So it is going to make a massive difference to them if we can give them a hefty donation. I'll put a link in the description to where you can go and get the raffle tickets. Remember, if you don't actually want the Camry and you win, you can get an alternative prize of a great big tech kit. You get one King Bowman Smart Diagnostic Scan Tool, one Top Don 500 battery tester, one Top Don Jump Surge 1200, and some GT Sign ceramic kit. And there are, I think it was 5 other prizes as well as the main prize. So loads on offer there. See you on the next one, guys.